The first flagship phone of 2023 is here. This is the iQOO 11 and oh boy, I'm loving it. The iQOO 11 is not just the first flagship phone of 2023, but it also brings a lot of other firsts to the Indian market. Well, this is the very first smartphone to come with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip. It's the first with company's V2 imaging chip, and it's also the first to have an E6 AMOLED display. But is that enough? Well, let's talk about that and start with the design. There is no doubt that this is a very good looking premium smartphone. It's available in two colorways, Alpha and Legend. I'll talk about them in a moment. But first things first, the glass back on the iQOO 9 Pro has now been replaced with a vegan leather panel on this one. And I have mixed feelings about it. In fact, I kind of liked it, but a lot of people in my team were not convinced with this back panel. So you let me know in the comment section whether you prefer the glass back or a leather finish like this. But of course, as I said, there is no doubt and no questions about the quality of this phone. It looks very premium. It's a beautiful phone to look at and a very good phone to hold as well. The weight distribution is also pretty decent. It doesn't feel as heavy. The Legend variant that I have here is actually 3 grams lighter than the Alpha variant. So again, that is a good benefit for this particular variant. But yes, now coming back to the color options, well, see, again, I have no complaints with this look and feel of the phone, but we have seen enough iQOO phones with this design, with this color patterns. So what I feel is that it's about time that iQOO, sort of tries something new and introduce more color options for its consumers. So yes, that's one thing that, the company should keep in mind. But apart from that, because of this leather finish, the phone doesn't feel as slippery as well. Now, let's talk about what's new, and the new is the display. I'll keep it short and simple. It's a beautiful display, it ticks most boxes. It's a big display with high refresh rate, high resolution, and even the peak brightness has been increased from what we have seen on the iQOO phones in the past. On top of it, it's an LTPO panel, so you get variable refresh rate, plus there is a Gorilla Glass Victus protection on the front. Also, it's an E6 panel, so it should get brighter than other AMOLED panels, and it's supposed to be battery efficient too. You couldn't have asked more on a flagship phone's display, and it feels great for watching content. It's good for normal usage. Somehow it doesn't feel as bright though, and that's why I went back and checked. So while the peak brightness on this phone is 1800 nits, the typical brightness remains to be 600 nits, and there's a huge gap between the two figures, and that could be one of the reasons why this phone doesn't feel as bright in sunlight as I was expecting it to be. Let's look at the camera setup first. This one comes with a 50 megapixel main sensor. There is a 13 megapixel telephoto sensor which also doubles up for your portrait shots, and there's an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle sensor on this one, and on the front you get a 16 megapixel selfie shooter. Now I have clicked a lot of pictures with this phone and I'm super impressed with the camera performance. In fact, I had tweeted some of the image samples and a lot of you were also very impressed by the picture quality there. So let's start with the main camera, and as you can see here, the main camera is as good as it gets for smartphones. The images are clear, crisp, sharp, close-ups are good, even the wide shots are great. In fact, in this case, you can see that the camera has handled the contrast and red color of the bus very well. And in this picture, the texture of the tree is clear. But the magic happens with the portrait images. They are genuinely good, reminds me of the S22 series. Look at these images, amazing bokeh, great edge detection, and because these are being clicked using the telephoto sensor, even portrait shots at 2x look superb and they're perfectly sharp. Now I can't say the same for the zoom shots though. The zoom in capabilities are locked at 20x, and while you get decent images, they aren't as sharp. The ultra wide images are also pretty basic, not much to talk about here. But yes, the low light photography is a strength for this smartphone. I clicked this thumbs up can in very limited light, and yet it has come out so well. Here the orange has lost its texture, but overall the image is not bad. You can check some other image samples too and let me know in the comment section how they are. I mean, the only challenge in low light conditions will be the wide angle, because as you can see in this particular image, most details have been compromised. Now let's look at the selfies. Solid, sharp, good colors. Noticed a minor inconsistency. If you see these two images, there is a clear difference in the color of my face as well as my t-shirt. But apart from that, the selfies were also pretty good. So guys, I'm recording this video using the rear camera of iQOO 11 at 4K 60 FPS. So you'll get a clear idea about how the video quality is, as well as how good the microphone on this phone is. So let me know in the comment section, how do you feel about it? In fact, I'll just do a bit of this so that you can also get an idea about the stabilization on this camera. So guys, I'm recording this video using the front camera of the iQOO 11 at 1080p 30 FPS. Now this was one of my biggest complaints from last year's flagship phones, that most of them were capped at 1080p 30 FPS, and I thought that this would change this year, but again, this is the maximum recording capabilities that I get to see on this particular phone. Let me know in the comment section, how do you like the video quality though? Performance wise, again, this phone offers everything that you could have asked for. It has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip, which is Qualcomm's latest chipset, V2 chip for imaging and gaming. How does a V2 chip work and what difference does it make in the performance? Well, for that, you need to watch my Vivo X80 Pro review, which I'll plug in here, where I've explained the functionality in detail. And with that, you get up to 16 GB of RAM on this variant. And there is an 8 GB of virtual RAM as well. So it takes it to 24 GB of RAM. That's absolutely crazy. And with that, you get UFS 4.0 storage. So yes, again, all boxes ticked here, and the performance is again pretty solid. I enjoyed using the phone, smooth UI, swift gameplay. I had a few sessions of Call of Duty Mobile. The phone didn't lag or slow down. There were no signs of heating as well after about 45 minutes of gaming. Now on the software front, FunTouch OS keeps getting better with every update. It is based on Android 13. It's definitely cleaner than before. I didn't face many bugs either, but yes, there are still a lot of pre-installed apps which ideally you don't want on a flagship level phone. So that is something that Vivo should definitely look to remove going forward. Now this one comes with a 5000 mAh battery along with 120 watt charging support. That's a very rare combination to find, a big battery, fast charging capabilities. And again, the big plus or the add-on here is that you get that 120 watt charger inside the box itself. Now the battery backup is pretty decent too. I managed to get about 30 hours of battery life on this phone. This is while I used it for gaming, for watching content, and even to click a lot of pictures. So on normal usage, that's what you can expect, about 24 to 30 hours of battery backup, and the phone charges very rapidly, so you don't have to worry about battery dying too soon as well. But the big question still remains, that whether iQOO has done just enough to change your mind and make you buy this phone. So here's my final verdict. Well, what I can say is that it's a great start to the year. iQOO has set the standard very high for 2023 flagship phones. Now, as expected, there is not something exceptionally new here. It just builds on to the phones that we saw last year, but it has done a very good job of it. We get a good design, consistent performance, great cameras, and if iQOO manages to price this phone right, which is about 55,000 rupees for me, then it will be a very good competitor to the upcoming flagship phones like the OnePlus 11 and the Xiaomi 13. So I hope that this one is priced around rupees 55,000. I don't know the pricing as of now. As soon as I get to know it, I'll add it in the description box. But you let me know in the comment section what should be the pricing, and if by the time my review comes out, the pricing is announced, let me know if you're happy with it or not. My rating for iQOO 11 is 8 out of 10. I would still suggest that wait another month. There are going to be a lot more flagship phones coming. The S series is coming, the OnePlus 11 is coming. Let them come, let us compare those phones with this one, and then you can decide if you should buy it or not.